So today we are working on, we're going to organize our board. Oh, for those of you who didn't see last time, we just were kind of scouring the internet for resources on remote work and making a wiki page on Miro, which is a collection of assets, videos, things that we've made from Miro. Melissa also went and collected a bunch of Twitter comments and things like that. And so today, this time, we are going to be organizing the board. We're going to be adding new content. And then some of the fun stuff is we're going to be trying to find some templates, right, Melissa? We're going to be trying to find some templates that we like, recreate them in Miro. And then we are going to go ahead and, what was the last thing?
We're going to play some games or put together some
icebreakers. That's right. We're going to try to play some games on the Miro board because we know a lot of people are stuck in their house right now and need some ways to have some fun and do icebreakers and meet remotely. So that's the plan, right?
Yep, that's the plan. And if there's any, if there are any questions or comments, we'll be monitoring the feed here. So just drop in anything that maybe you would like to know or ask us questions about.
Sounds good. So I think from my side, the thing that I'm thinking about most is, so we were talking about navigating around this board. My first impression is to just separate out this general resources tab so it's more granular, because the first thing about navigation is people need to be able to find what they're looking for. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can try to break this down into smaller groups, maybe separate it out and find out if there's more categories.
So basically taking kind of major themes that we see and maybe putting them into different frames.
Yeah.
All right.
Miro templates, Miro mind map. Do we want to start separating it out into use cases? Because now we have just management of remote teams, remote workshops, that's a use case, comments around social. And then here I see mind map, which is like, so we could start going into like remote brainstorming, remote user experience design, and do stuff like that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Do we want to get that granular?
What if we keep it high? Maybe, what if we keep it just high level? Because I see a lot here around like remote team meetings, remote etiquette. There's definitely workshops here that we can put over in that workshop section. And then there's a bunch of like remote work guides from different sources. Maybe we'll get to use cases as we're organizing.
Okay. I want to create a frame for like these, to like copy and consolidate all these call outs that we've done from various things. I'm just going to put it off to the side for now. So I'll press F on my keyboard to pull up the frame tool.
Great call out, Matt, because we can't see that.
What? I'm sharing my screen.
No, I mean, we can't see you pressing F as a shortcut. So a good thing you called it out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Callouts and highlights. So maybe can't do a remote meeting for as long as a physical workshop. That's for sure true. Get people in the tool ahead of time. That's for sure true. It's easier to navigate. It's easier to be negative and mean when working remotely. That's definitely true. Be more intentional in the beginning so you can rebuild trust. You can relax standards afterwards. Oh, that's interesting. For that sticky note, I think last time we were talking about how you can be really intentional about having specific meetings and like to build culture in the very beginning of your remote work, and then you can like pull them back as people have built trust. You don't need to like meet every day necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, it's interesting actually with the transition to remote. There definitely is a lot of like processes involved, standardization, things to kind of operate like business as usual. But I find a lot of the times when this is a new way of working, it's all about building that trust first. And there's different ways that I've seen companies respond to this, right? So there's one tweet that I saw from someone. They said like their company had instituted basically an SLA around Slack messages because they're
Right, you
not
mentioned that.
yeah, they're not sitting next to each other, so there isn't this feeling of presence and togetherness and responsiveness. So
Oh my
it's an
gosh, I have such strong
interesting way.
feelings about that. I have such
Interesting way
strong
to go about
feelings.
that. I can't
Oh
tell.
my gosh.
They seem like weak feelings.
Can you imagine if people were like, how come you didn't meet our SLA in responding to our Slack message?
You left me on scene.
Oh my gosh.
All right, maybe I will clean up this general resources section here.
If you just joined, welcome. We're working on a board collecting insights for remote work, and we're just working and we're just talking. So put something in the chat, say hi, tell us where you're viewing from. We'll give you a shout out even. When do you get that opportunity, huh, Melissa?
Very rarely, especially from Matt.
Especially from Matt.
I like this title, Working from Home, How to Feel the Love When Your Team is Far Away.
Oh, that is nice. What does it say, actually? Can we pull it out?
Yeah.
Who wrote that one? Pleo.io? I don't know them.
Pleo? I don't know either. Let me grab this really quick.
All right, I'm just going to do a random search. Remote brainstorming. Best practices. Don't you just love the term best practices? And how you know exactly what people are mean when they say it? Hey, okay, I did not even plan this, but the top 2 results are from Miro, which is kind of cool.
That SEO.
That SEO, learn vital rules of successful brainstorming for remote. I don't know if I've read this article. I kind of feel like I'm cheating by pulling out Miro ones because it feels like I'm self-promoting, but this one I didn't even plan it, so. Someone has to keep an eye on the clock when you're doing remote brainstorming.
Or put that timer on.
Or put the timer on.
I will say though, the one thing about the timer when you have your headphones in,
it's so loud.
It's so
it's
loud.
So loud. Oh my gosh.
I have definitely
had your ears blasted out.
Yeah, when that has happened. So
Outsiders.
Yeah, for those.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, for those of you who don't know, we have a timer feature in Miro. So if you're doing any sort of sessions like this one, brainstorming, or if you're doing any sort of workshops and you need to time box things, or even something as simple as like a team meeting, you can use the timer functionality, and Matt has it up there counting down. And basically when it ends and it hits 0, the noise, the sound that it makes is so incredibly loud when you have
It's actually a nice it's a nice sound. Like it's da da da. Like it's pleasant. It's just sometimes it's like so loud.
Yeah.
Product
it also
feedback.
feels like a bomb is about to like explode or something like that because you just see it counting down.
Oh.
But you can
Yeah.
hide it, so then you'll be even more surprised when it goes off.
Oh, yeah. Do you think we'd be able to get in touch with the people who make Miro and talk to them about the loud timer?
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Oh, did you stop it?
I did. Is that okay? Do you want me
Yeah.
to keep it going?
No, that's good.
This is a pretty long article. I'm going to go ahead
It
and
is
post
really
this.
long.
Oh, you're looking at this one? Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting because they kind of differentiate between working from home versus working remotely. But I feel like everything is kind of in this melting pot, working from home, working remotely, distributed work, telecommuting, teleconferencing.
Maybe they're talking about like
the place in which you work. Like working remotely could be you at a cafe or something.
Yeah. But I agree. People should know what you mean, probably.
I just got pinged on Slack. I think I have joined my 100th channel.
Oh, geez. Nice.
So we have a couple of people watching here. Again, if you've just joined, feel free to interact with us, ask questions, say hi. We're here just working on the board together. There's no real agenda for today. It's just to show you what this interaction on a board can look like. So feel free to drop in anything.
Set your rules and stick to them. Is this just talking about your own personal like working agenda? Is that what that's talking about?
I think so.
Working schedule? Like you're talking about where it's like, oh, I should probably like act as if I'm getting like properly ready for the day.
Ready. Yeah.
As you were saying before we went live. Oh, this is specifically about what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Communicate about communication.
That's actually pretty true, actually. You have to like be intentional about finding ways to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm. I actually, there was a lot of updates that I had for a few people and I couldn't attend a meeting to give my updates. Instead of writing it all out, because we're working so quickly on a lot of different things right now, I just went on Loom and recorded myself and gave like a 3-minute update and just dropped in the link and said, hey, this is a lot faster.
I do that all the time, especially with our Russian colleagues.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's so much better.
Yeah. Just
Because
a
you
lot
have
faster. Yeah. You don't have to articulate everything.
Oh my gosh, because otherwise the Slack message will be so long.
Mm-hmm.
So long.
Yep. We actually have someone that says, Ralph Poole, hello, I've been using Miro for about a month. I teach digital production or digital product innovation at Columbia. I haven't used Miro collaboratively
that's cool.
at all, so I am pleased to watch your show. Hey, Ralph, thanks for joining us.
Let us know if you have any questions about the product. Or tell us about what you're doing in your innovation school. Or do you have to, are you teaching your class remotely now?
We'll wait for his response. Come back in a bit.
We'll see. We'll see if he responds.
Do you think I should put all of the, well, I was thinking about putting the videos all in one, but that kind of doesn't make sense.
No, I think by subject is better.
Yeah.
But I think we should break this
So,
down. Making design
building.
sprints work for teams. How running a remote brand sprint helped our company's story.
I feel like
Like some of these are use case stuff. I don't think brand sprints is like the most relevant thing for everybody. I'm going to remove these. If you're interested in a remote brand sprint, maybe I'll keep one.
Yeah, I think we do definitely have a lot of users asking about design brand sprints as well. He says remote for the entire time.
Oh, nice. That's convenient.
We are creating a screen in Miro and then importing into Envision.
Oh, nice.
Ralph, can you describe maybe at a high level what your process is? Do you kind of do a little whiteboard drawing first, kind of do something very low fidelity and then transition into Envision? Is that how you usually use Miro?
I think we should do use cases. Let's just do like top like 3, like remote workshops, remote agile ceremonies, remote design practices. What do you say?
Sorry, where are you?
I'm just saying in general.
Oh, I see.
Because like I want somewhere to put like sprint planning, which is like an agile ceremony, and they're talking about like in this article, they're talking about backlog refinement.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, we should combine those two. I mean, basically all of these use cases are now you just put remote in front of them.
Well, there's like more
mapping.
things to it. Yeah, there's like more things to it. Like with backlog refinement, it's interesting because like that's an inherently very conversation based, very whiteboard based activity. Mm-hmm. Like you just grab the backlog items that you want to talk about, you put them and you just sit around a table and maybe you're doing some planning poker, but a lot of times you're going up to a whiteboard, you're drawing, and you're saying like, this is how I understand this user story. Like, how do you understand it? You discuss it, and then you come to some sort of conclusion. You're like, yeah, we can do that in like this amount of work. And so that's one's a really interesting one because it's so like just natural and human. Mm-hmm. And there's no like, it's not like a process based thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like a discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works. I think there's other features that help with that too. So we can drop in some like help center pages too that are relevant. So even with like backlog grooming, a lot of the times there's a voting component to those sessions because you have to prioritize what you want to do in the next sprint or next couple of sprints. I remember we used to vote, like at my former company, we used to just vote with our phone. So we'd go to this like random site and we would just cast our vote.
That's a common thing.
Yeah. Miro templates. I feel like this is like getting started with Miro.
Ralph responded, we're creating screen in Miro for exactly low fidelity first, then important to Envision. We then iterate as we learn, increasing the fidelity each week. Yeah, that's really cool. Pretty common use case in Miro, just because Miro is like more accessible. There's also like really basic reasons why people do that as well that we've seen, where developers, engineers might not want or can't afford to get a license in InVision is something I've heard from some of our enterprise customers. And so they're interested in being added to Miro because many people can get value out of Miro, but InVision is basically just, not just, but it has more of a specific feature, a function. And so you can get engineers to come in and be more involved in your initial designs earlier by doing the low fidelity in Miro. And then when you go into InVision, you create the high fidelity mockups, and you need to, and you can get things like the, the distance, like the pixel perfect stuff that you can't do in Miro. But getting their feedback early on, engineers and architects and things like that can save a lot of time in the long run. Do you want to share your screen, Melissa, real quick, and you can be the one that drives?
Sure. I was just going to ask, can you see my screen? And then I remembered that bingo template that I had sent you.
Are you going to add it?
Yeah, I could add it. I'll add it in a bit when we get there. Did you move these videos, backlog refinement and Miro? I'll need to move those over. Okay.
User story maps.
I like this blog image here. How to
it's
run
a little creepy, right?
Distributed team.
Is that old style? Is that real-time board design?
Shh, we don't talk about real-time board.
Oh, shoot.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not allowed to say it.
For those of you who don't know, we used to be called real-time board. We are now obviously called Miro, and we're commenting on just the branding here. I think so, but I also don't understand the lips. Maybe because everyone has a voice when they're giving feedback during retrospectives.
Oh, yeah, maybe. That has to be it.
That has to be it.
Can't possibly be anything else.
Content format, you think? So like I can break this frame up into videos, blog posts.
Yeah, sure.
Although it's more around the topic though.
Ralph just replied, I suggested Miro to a group on Facebook teaching studio art online. I explained it as an infinite canvas, and the students can upload their work and receive feedback, asynchronous or in real time. Yeah, super cool.
Do you have a design, one for design sprints?
I do not. Or not a video.
Oh, you do. Remote design. The stream.
Oh, for design. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Design sprints work. Remote light
Ultimate guide to
decision
remote
making.
work. The working from home guide. The remote work by GitLab. 7 ways to make remote collaboration more effective with an online whiteboard. Oh, that's interesting. Do they talk about us? This workshopper article?
I don't know.
Hey everybody, if you're just joining, we're just creating a board live, and we are creating a sort of like a wiki page on the board for a bunch of resources and articles and thoughts on how to work remote, doing different kinds of use cases. So feel free to post a question. Oh, they do. This article is about us.
Which one is it?
That's cool. Workshopper.com. It's here, I'll go back to the board. It's this one. Did you notice that if you click on my face in the collaborators, you'll be taken to my current location?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's this one right here.
That's cool.
They talk about Miro.
It's interesting with workshops because workshops kind of span several different use cases. I mean, anything is a workshop, right? But
yeah, that's a really good point, actually. But it's also its own thing. I think when people talk about workshops, they're usually talking about people who are outside of their team.
Interesting. That's a good
Look,
point.
Ralph's asking if we can share this board. We're talking about that, Ralph. Actually, well, the board is designed to be shared. Are we sharing it before we're done, Melissa, or only after?
We can share it now. Do you want to drop the link in there?
Why not?
So
We'll
anyone
share
who
comment.
accesses this board will be able to view everything and then add comments. And this will be kind of a living board and will evolve over time as we organize this and add in more things.
Anyone with the link can comment. No sign-in required. Here is the board. Join us. I think it's funny, like, because in my head, I'm like, join us is what I hear, but I have no idea if other people think that's funny. Like, just like, join us.
It kind of reminds me of the claw.
Yes, that's what I hear in my head. I hear the, yes, the claw. Like, that's literally what I hear.
Oh, I'm not supposed to touch my face.
Oh, shoot.
But you're making me face palm.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey, you know what would be fun? Actually, you know what we could do for general resources, because it's kind of like all encompassing and it's hard to put them into themes like remote workshops, agile ceremonies, rituals. We can make like a remote collaboration customer journey map and plot it, right? So you have a lot of teams now or companies that are completely new to remote work.
I like this
and
idea.
They start at the beginning of the journey. They kind of move along and they're trying to find, how do I enable my teams, my workforce? So they're probably looking at content that talks about remote tools. And then as they get deeper into it, they might be looking for, okay, now how do I use these tools effectively?
Interesting.
What are some best practices? We could do that.
I am super down.
Should I drop in a template?
Our customer journey map template was just redone. If you want to add that one in.
Oh, okay. All right. Actually, quick overview of templates, might as well since I'm here. So I just opened up the templates here from the left side here, from the left menu bar there, and you have a whole collection of templates. And there's more if you go to, I believe, miro.com//templates. But we have a lot of these pre-made ones for things that are popularly done on a whiteboard. So for right now, we're looking at customer journey maps. You can see a preview, so you get a sense of some context and information there. You can actually go through and see what other types of customer journey maps there are. So this is another one. And then you can add a filled example, or you can just add a blank one. Is this the one that you were referencing?
Sorry, I had technical issues for just a second.
Oh, is this the one you're referencing? This one?
Nope. I don't like that one. This one's the one I like. The reason that one is cool looking. Once you're done with that one, it looks way cooler than the other one. The problem that I have with it is that it's hard with rework. So there's a thing about customer journey mapping where you will definitely be changing it as you go.
Yeah.
And like it'll change the way you think about your current process. There might be a stage that gets created as you go, things like that.
And it's hard to kind of move a lot of the
because it's
around.
fundamentally based on lines. It's hard to rework. So I'm a big fan of the new one.
This one, customer journey map 2.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the preview for that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Welcome to the Matt Rant Show. My name is Matt.
And I am ranting. That's a good point. I've actually run into that issue too, because then you end up focusing on too much on the aesthetics and less on the actual meat of the customer journey map, right?
Customer journey maps are messy. They're messy.
They are. I will say though, there was an article by Hotjar. They just published it like a couple days ago, and they interviewed me like a few months ago for it. But one of the things that someone else had said was customer journey maps, to an extent, have to be relatively aesthetically pleasing. Otherwise, it's not taken seriously enough. If it's kind of just pieced together and cobbled together. So a lot of the times too, when you start with sticky notes, right? It's good to kind of get your thoughts on the board. You don't have to think about what it looks like too much. And as you kind of firm up those ideas and you workshop them, you can definitely change the form of that sticky note, for example, and just a little quick demo of that. So nothing to do with customer journey maps right now, but just here's what you can do. You can take a sticky note and you can go ahead and you can switch. You can convert it to these different things here. So whether it's like just a square sticky notes, if it's a shape. So if you're starting to build diagrams, but you started with sticky notes, you can do that. You can also turn it into what we call a Miro card. So if you need a little bit, if you need to put in a little bit more information here, this kind of opens up. You can add a description, include a tag, mention someone or assign someone to that. Anyways.
Nice.
Off on my tangent. Okay, so how should we do this? So we don't really have.
Well, I mean, you've been talking about, like, for those of you who aren't aware, well, I don't know. You've been talking about this journey, the journey of going remote, like a lot. So wouldn't the first step be to like consider what the stages would be?
Yeah. Remote collaboration journey. So I think Ralph just joined us on the board.
I know. Hey, Ralph.
Hey, Ralph.
Where's this cursor? Join us.
No one gets it, Matt. I'm sorry.
It's okay. This is the Matt Rants show and also the Embarrass Melissa show.
Embarrass for Matt show. All right, so should we do the stages? Process ownership, touch points.
I think we have a couple participants. Does anybody have any suggestions about what the stages of the journey of going to remote work would be? Oh wait, are we talking about it from an organizational perspective or like an individual perspective? Like, is Matt going remote or is Miro the company going remote?
Miro the
'Cause it would be
company
different,
going
right?
remote. Miro the company, or Acme the company.
Acme. So the first part about it would be they're discovering the problem, right? Or they're running into some sorts of, right?
Mhm. Why are you
Whenever
laughing?
somebody goes like, uh-huh, I just
For real.
immediately don't
Have.
think that they're like on board with whatever you're saying.
Well, I feel like I think I know where you're going. You're kind of going stages of awareness, right? So like I am aware of my problem, so I'm pain aware. Or is that too high level? Like I'm pain aware, I am solution aware, I'm product aware, I'm most aware. That's kind of the typical stages of awareness journey there, but it might be a little different here. I'll see if I can organize some other parts.
No, don't go to some other parts. We
Going
have
to
to
other
come to
parts.
stages.
Going out to
Don't leave me. I don't know. This is your idea.
lost my attention.
Oh no.
I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Discovering the problem. Searching for solutions. Yeah. It's so trippy to type, but then see it like going up this other way.
Oh, yeah, that's a little weird. So, okay, for your vision or your kind of like your basic idea, did I start too far back? Because I was thinking just now, like I wrote down this stage, which is like the actual transition from like in person to remote. That could be like so many different stages. Because you could do an entire change management.
We can scope it a little bit more. So as opposed to actually transitioning to remote, maybe it's prioritizing what you transition to remote. So if it's like starting with some of your like team rituals, maybe that's what you transition. Because at this point, a lot of, I think, companies that we usually work with, if they don't already have some sort of working remotely or work from home policy, they have had to pivot and do that. So they're not really in a transition. They've kind of just been, I don't know, it's a good word for that.
You mean they're just like, they're doing it now? Like,
yeah, I mean,
there was no transition.
There's no transition. There's no transition period for this.
I mean, there is though. Like yeah, I guess I understand what you're saying. Like,
but yeah, it's hard to put into stages in some ways.
Isn't this template nice?
It is nice. These headshots are nice. I don't have nice headshots like this.
Maybe one day I'll be as happy as this guy.
You do look pretty happy. Wait, click on it again and your avatar will come up.
This guy?
Oh, you just keep getting smaller when I zoom in.
Oh. What a responsive UI. Okay, so do you want to follow this classic customer journey mapping? Like, should we fill in these sticky notes? Like when they're discovering the problem, what are the goals? Like, the goals are to work efficiently, but they're not able to. Most recently, work despite quarantine.
Work despite the distance.
Work
Long
despite social distancing.
Long distance work, like a long distance relationship. Oop, sorry.
Ooh, look, see,
I'm just making it bigger.
if you have ever accidentally moved content in Miro, just know you're not alone.
You're never
It
alone.
happens. It happens to us too.
Wouldn't this be great if this was on a grid?
That's the vision.
Yeah.
They're going to eventually transition. Ooh, spoiler alert.
Oh.
That's why if you look at old style templates,
Mm-hmm.
they used space in between the boxes in order to distinguish between swim lanes. But now as they go through, you notice that the boxes, that it's just the color that's distinguishing between the swim lanes. That's because they're prepping to transition templates to grids.
I didn't know that.
Doot, 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 doot.
For all the spreadsheet thinkers, you can
Yes.
now transition much easier to a Canvas-based product.
Yes, it's true. Okay, searching for solutions.
Sorry, I'm totally not helping you. I'm just like watching you.
Like help me. This was your
I'm
idea.
just so intrigued. I'm just intrigued at how you think about things. So I'm just here watching.
I'm struggling. I see somebody else just joined. We're creating a board. It's about remote work. You can join it too. It's in the links in the chat. Join away.
I'm just going to remove these people and just start cleaning this up. Because where should I slot the content?
Just make one of the swim lanes bigger.
Actually, I'll just do it at the bottom.
Oh, related content right there.
Wait,
related content.
I changed that.
Oh, I thought that's what it was by default. That's hilarious.
I was so ninja. You didn't even see it.
Yeah.
You didn't even see it, Matt.
What is somebody's goal when they're transitioning to remote? It's to not lose efficiency, like productivity. It's probably a better word.
Transitioning to remote.
Like during the actual transition, it's like communicate effectively. Maybe like not lose, like company values or something like that. There's also security concerns. Not lose company values.
I mean, I would even put security. Well, I don't know. Searching for solutions, right?
Yeah, probably both, because it's more than just a solutions question. It's a when someone's working remotely, like, and are they allowed to, for instance, work at a local coffee shop?
Not anymore.
Right. Oh yeah. But are they allowed to work on a public Wi-Fi?
Right.
Do they need to like confirm that they've had like a password on their home Wi-Fi that's like this many characters long or something like that?
Ralph left a comment.
Ralph, you had a typo. I think. There you go. Okay.
Get everyone involved. Hey, that's pretty cool, right? Like you have the comment box open and it just changes.
Oh yeah, that is true.
I've never.
I don't know if I've ever seen that in real time.
I haven't either. Get everyone involved.
So it's like, yeah, that's like sort of related to not lose. It's buy-in, right? It's get everybody to buy in.
To buy in.
Yeah. That's so important because some people are so resistant to going. Some people, I don't mean to say it like that. It can be hard to transition to remote if it's just really not something you've had experience with. There's also, you have to be okay with the ambiguity, because when you go to work and people see you there, even if you have a slow day, you still feel like you worked because you were at the office and people saw you. And like, obviously, eventually, if you don't get any work done, you'll be found out. But there's a certain level of like ability to hide your productivity because you're there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely know what you mean.
Yeah. But like when you're remote, I remember when I first transitioned to remote, I had a lot of anxiety, especially when I first joined Miro, because back then it was such a small team and the ramp up was kind of slow because there wasn't the systems in place to ramp me up fast. And so I was really nervous that I wasn't doing enough work in the very beginning. But it wasn't.
Or it's hard to gauge.
Yeah, but it wasn't my fault. Like literally, you can only, when you're onboarding into a new company, like read so many, like you can only read so many of that company's blog posts in a single day. You can only watch so many calls in a single day. Like it's necessary that you take a break and you absorb the information. So like you might work for 4 hours,
but you need time to process.
You need time to process. Yeah. And so like at the end of the day, you only work for 4 hours and you're like, oh my gosh, people are going to think that I'm not working at my new job. I'm going to lose it.
Yeah, I kind of see it as like, the analogy is like working out, something that I'm not doing right now. But it's like a muscle, right? Like you can't become stronger, become more fit and conditioned if you continue to work out excessively. You need the time periods in between to rest so that those muscles can actually form, develop. And I think that that's the same thing here with work is, yes, there's kind of like this active sense of work, but if we think of our brains much like, a computer, we need time to kind of process, synthesize. Yeah. Where do you think something like managing a remote team goes? So maybe that's under transition, right?
I think transition or reinforcement. This is actually one of the things that so in like change management, like ADKAR, there's awareness. Oh, what's after? Well, there's knowledge. Oh, I forget what ADKAR is.
Oh no.
Oh, desire, knowledge.
Steven, if you're watching this.
I know. Ability, that's what it is. Reinforcement. Wow, total brain fart. Desire. Ability. Reinforcement. Like the last stage in this change management system is reinforcement, which is interesting because it's like an everlasting stage.
Right.
And it's like acknowledging the fact that you can't just like do a few things and be like, hey, we're transitioned to remote now. I expect everyone to have efficient, there's like a whole other slew of things that you need to do. So how do ensure changes and best practices stick? They're like sustained.
Some of these overlap. I'm just kind of making my best judgment with the content here. Like the ultimate guide to remote team meetings, would you think that's part of probably transition, right? Like how do we transition?
Yeah. Because it's changing the way that you run something that you were doing before.
The remote work report, the future of work is remote, or
that's like research. That's like searching for solutions.
Searching for solutions.
Or something like that.
The working from home guide, remote collaboration with Click. Where do you think guides go? I've put them in researching remote transition.
Yeah, it's fine.
Or maybe actually, it might be that these two are swapped. Would I actually be looking for solutions? I mean, potentially, right? If we've had, if companies are being forced to go remote, like maybe it does
When
go in
you,
this order.
okay, when you say solutions, are you thinking about, maybe that's where we're misaligning, like the difference between the definition
I
of a
was thinking
solution.
tools. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking
okay,
tools,
that's why.
platforms.
That's why. Researching remote transition. Yeah, I can see why if this is tools that they should be switched. Do you want to switch them?
Yeah.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let me do this. Figuring out the best way to do this. And look, Matt's point about rework in customer journey maps is validated.
Matt, what is the best way, since there's like all these different components?
The best way would be to
sure that what I want to move is what I move and not unintentionally moving something else.
In this case, you would start your lasso beneath the square, beneath the purple square.
You mean like this?
Yeah, just start it beneath and then don't cover the whole square. Oh, nope, it's still selecting it.
Yeah.
So in that case, probably what I would end up doing is I would lasso it, hold control, and then click on the square to deselect it. Do you want to do it?
Should I just lock down?
Yeah, we should have locked everything down, but it's kind of like,
should have done that before. That's okay. I think we'll be okay. Not moving things.
We'll be okay. Wait, do these need to move over? Do these need to move?
Yeah, we have to move those.
Oh, okay.
Here. There it goes.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. What about these? So management of remote teams. We have that article. I'm going to delete that off. What is this? Lightning Decision Jam. How to run one with a remote team. An exercise created by AJ Smart.
So I see some new viewers joined. If you're just joining, we're working on the board right now. We're creating a wiki page for remote work. If you have a moment, put in the chat, tell us where you're viewing from. If you're a user of Miro, if you have any questions for us, let us know. Melissa had the idea that we should map out the sort of customer journey of transitioning to remote work. And then we're fitting in like pieces of content that we've gathered underneath each one of those stages. So I'd be curious to know from anyone watching how they would create this stage, these stages of transitioning to remote. Like maybe there's a stage that we're missing. And you can post it in the chat, or you can join the board. The link is in the chat, and place a comment for maybe there's a stage we're missing. I'm going to change these into shapes because I don't like the fact that they're stickies.
I actually just saw this webinar that happened, and it's about building and hiring distributed product teams. I think that's a really hot topic right now for a lot of companies that are still looking to grow. They're trying to transition into remote hiring and recruiting efforts. There's a lot that goes into that. So things like if you're in product or engineering, a lot of that relates to kind of whiteboarding interviews. I remember I had to do several of those when I was in product back in the day in a former life, and they were always excruciating because you're put on the spot. But now you can't do that because you won't be doing those in person, I'd imagine. So I know we're getting a lot of questions about how do you use Miro for that purpose. So I think we should maybe create another frame around this.
Is it like hiring or building teams?
Hiring, building teams. We just actually had a couple of people that joined the team on Monday, and
they're joining a fully remote team for the first time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How amazing. What an amazing period of time. So interesting. Any way you cut it, it's like, it's such an interesting period of time for us.
It is. Yeah, talk about what you were referencing earlier, right? You said just even being in the office, not thinking that you're doing enough in those first couple of weeks. Imagine being remote. Like, how do you kind of make your rounds, introduce yourself to people, or get introduced to people?
Well, no, what I was saying was that I was remote. There was no office back then.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, everyone was remote.
Right.
Does Miro have a shared calendar? Not right now, actually. This is in the chat. It'll probably come one day. To be honest, we get the request, and people will, for the lack of a better word, they'll hack it in different ways.
I can show you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
So calendar, just like having the fiscal year, like the count, like just to be able to put it on a board, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably
so
what they mean.
Actually created
Heart Healthy Scrum.
A template for this.
Person.
So let's see. So I can go. So here are all the pre-made templates that we have. Again, there's a lot more on. If you go to miro.com/templates, you can find more there. What I can do here, I've actually created a couple of different company templates, and what a company template is, and this is different than just having a personal template. Since we are on an enterprise account, I can basically share out my template with the entire company. Everyone who is in that enterprise account now has access to it. So for example, if you were on what would be a good example of that? So if I created a
like of a global template, you need an example of a global template?
Oh, what it is it's a team-based template, right? So for example, in Miro, there's this kind of way that you can organize teams and content. One way is having different team workspaces. So if you're in a particular team, you can create a template that your entire team has access to. But because it's not a company template, then the rest of the members who are part of that enterprise subscription or that account don't have access to that template. So now you have the ability to share it out across the entire company. Does that make sense? Kind of?
Yeah, it does. It does. Heart Healthy Scrum is asking if you can share it outside the company. Do you mean like, can she share this template with you? Or functionally in Miro, can you share custom templates outside?
I'm going to go to can you share it publicly outside the company?
You can join the board right now as a commenter and take a look. Background noise for me.
At this point, I think if I'm reading your question correctly, can you share it outside of the company? Meaning, if someone wasn't part of your account, could they also use that template? That's how I'm assuming, or I'm assuming that's what your question is. At this point, no. However, if you go to, again, that landing page, miro.com/template, there's definitely templates we've created that we feature there, and then you can add those templates to your own board and use them. We're also going to be launching a community around this so that other Miro users can share maybe custom templates they've created, and then you can then use those as well.
They actually added some more context. They said, imagine a community organization creating a calendar and wants to publish it on Twitter. So that you can do. So if you created a calendar on your board, all you would need to do is go and get the public link, which is something that's available even on our free plan. And you could post that, and I believe even embed it into like your a website or something like that, getting the embed code. I don't know if, Melissa, you want to share where that is. If you click on the export button, it's not underneath share. If you click under export, yep, embed. You must have public link enabled to do that, but you could actually embed a board on a website with view rights, for example, which is a cool feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, other ways that you would be able to share this. What I find valuable too with the board is, as you can tell when we're zooming out, there's a lot in here. Oh, I see some comments. Fun little feature that makes it easy for others that are maybe just coming into the board for the first time. You can also get the link to this particular, we'll just call it a widget. So if I have copy link here, and I paste that in, it'll actually open up to that specific part of the board. So that's another way, like if you're going to share out a calendar on a board somewhere and you're sharing this out with, say, like your team even, it's a lot easier for them to be able to see exactly what you would want them to see and see that it kind of just dropped me right into that part of the board. Just another little fun thing. Maybe I should add.
Why did we start adding a calendar? Oh, just from the question. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we delete this template then?
Yeah, I'll take it off. I do have this like getting started with Miro section. There's definitely a video here around templates. I don't know, should I pop in some like help center?
I mean, I can grab the videos from the getting started playlist.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Plug for Matt.
Customer education resources, guys. Go to miro.com/academy.
So Ralph here left a comment, searching for solutions. Along with researching, I would brainstorm requirements. That's a good point. Maybe by doing a collaborative mind map. So yeah, definitely. If you're searching for solutions, you're looking for specific tools, requirements gathering is definitely part of that process. Should we just keep it in one or break it out? We could just leave it as one for now, and then as we get more, we can break it out.
There's actually this customer actions swim lane.
Yeah.
So I added it there because I thought that was a really good example of things that you would tangibly do in order to start accomplishing your goals. And so it made me think like it would be interesting to fill in the rest of this swim lane here with customer actions and see what's going on. If you just joined, go ahead.
I was going to say collaborative mind map. So you would use Miro to evaluate if you need to use Miro. Right? Like how else
Wait.
Wait. The ultimate inception. You have to use Miro in order to brainstorm if you need to use Miro. Yeah. I'll let that sink in for a little bit.
Wait. What did you just do?
What? What happened? I know you expanded this PDF out.
You like what?
You expanded the PDF or extracted the pages, I should say. Are we just keeping that there? How to embrace remote work.
I added, can you find specific pages and add them to your, because there was one that I added, right? Or I thought about adding it. Did I ever do it?
I don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, this one. I was going to paste this page. Chat tools versus video calls. I thought that was an interesting one to do in solutions.
Yeah. Should we do a little line connection here?
Yeah, sure. If you're just joining, we're creating like a public wiki page about remote work and we're creating a journey map about an organization that's transitioning, just off the cuff from our own brains here. And the link is in the chat. So if you want to come in and add some comments about your own take, please do so. We would love to hear from you.
Oh, here there's actually a bunch of things here. So chat tools, video call software, collaboration status tools, communication documentation. Huh. Should we start plotting these? Maybe?
Yeah, sure. Did Trello just nail a bunch of content
yeah,
that we need?
Go Trello.
Let's go, Trello. Okay, so you're just moving them. Yeah. Establish ground rules. Is the information time sensitive? If yes, go to chat. If no, go to Trello.
Like,
it's so interesting. Oh, go ahead.
That is reinforcement, transition. I don't know. Could be one of those.
What, the ground rules?
Yeah.
Maybe reinforcement by like if you actually created like a document or some sort of like best practices that's, I don't know, shared with the team every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is interesting. Remote, find and land the perfect remote job. We can move that over to
building the team.
This like building the team, hiring, recruitment. Context is king.
You didn't title your frame, Melissa. What am I
waiting for you to. I was waiting
what
for
am
you
I
to
gonna do with you?
I was waiting for you to do it.
Frames are key, people. Frames
All right,
are
what
life.
are frames? What are frames?
Frames are life. It's like air.
Okay.
What is this thing called? Oh, hiring and recruiting.
All right. While Matt is titling my frame. So for those of you who have just joined or are here watching us banter and on this board, so frames. So okay, let's just kind of like zoom all the way out, pun intended. This whole thing is an infinite canvas. As you can see, I am just panning around, and I can basically start to add some structure to this infinite canvas using frames. And you'll find frames here. There's some, sizes, like different sizes here that you can pick from. I just usually just use custom because I don't need it for any sort of prototyping or anything. And then you can title the frame
16 by 9 frame size is actually really nice.
It is, but I always run out of space.
I mean, you can make it as big as you want, but I feel like the shape is nice, and
it is nice.
Creates like, it makes your board look cleaner if most of your frames are of the same ratio and almost the same size.
Yeah.
Like you notice, like over here, we have all of those frames that look, because we're duplicating them, they look very similar. It really does create a cleaner look to your board, which will make it more navigatable. Navigating? Navigatable?
What?
Navigatable?
Anne of Green Gables?
We're doing it live.
Yes, this is live. This is not scripted. This is how Matt and I work. If we were to work together.
And they're like, oh, that's why nothing ever gets done in Miro. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I think we get a lot done.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, frames. So yeah, 16 by 9 keeps the proportion. So as you can see here, you can make it smaller, larger, but it'll keep that 16 by 9 proportion. And frames adds that kind of layer of structure. So for instance, when we started this board, Matt had just drawn out some frames just to craft the space on the infinite canvas.
Yeah.
And it just is a little bit easier when you don't start with a blank board. And so if you're collaborating with a lot of other people, It's just nice to give them some sense of direction of where they should put things. And then as you work on the board over time, it of course evolves. So what we did was we started with kind of this general resources section, and then it's evolved into this remote collaboration journey, because we realized that as we were kind of finding pieces of content and adding it to the board, we started to see themes here. So we used that and we
Right.
plotted it on a customer or on a collaboration journey, which mimics a customer journey map. And we started using frames as kind of framing around use cases. Do you like
Uh-huh.
all the puns I'm just saying right now?
It's
And
too
the cool
much.
thing is, so say we're collaborating on this board, and another team member that hasn't looked at this board kind of needs to get a sense of what all is happening here. You can actually use frames as a way to help navigate the board. So if you open this up, you'll start to see that these frames populate the way slides would in a presentation app. And if I click on them, it'll take me to those frames. And imagine if, say, you are doing this customer journey map for a very specific project, maybe not for content related things, but around really around like more customer experience when you're building out product or a feature or something like that. What's crucial here is to kind of get everyone involved. And so you can transition very easily to this presentation mode. And you'll see here it kind of provides this way of like it's not as distracting as kind of looking at the whole board. You can just use this as a way to present through, but you don't have to rework all the work that you've already done to just make it more presentable. You kind of have the ability to do that really quickly here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get to play any games.
We didn't. Should we transition to that? We can continue to work on this board later.
Yeah, should we play a game real quick? What should we
We
play?
should. I don't know. You're always the one with the icebreakers. You
I mean,
always have the icebreakers.
do you really not know how to play checkers? I can
Well, we
teach
don't
you how to
know.
play checkers.
Okay.
Or do you want to
Teach me
do
how to
like
play checkers.
wait, do you want to do like a legit, like an icebreaker, or do you want to do team building? Or do you want to do like a game? Because those are 3 different things.
Can we do team building with 2 people?
Sure. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
let's do that.
Okay, just a second.
I have this team building frame over here. So while you're building that, I'll just kind of do some little tours here. So as you can see, apart from, there's kind of all sorts of different content formats you can add to a board. These are all videos. What's great, and this is great for even something like onboarding. You can drop in the video link there and it'll play right directly on the board. So this is great. You don't have to open up a new tab. Doesn't open up a new window. Plays directly from there. And when it comes to articles, you get a preview of that article. It pulls in the header image, and there will be this icon, and you can open it up, and it'll take you right to that article. You'll probably be, oh, bye, Ralph. You'll probably be stumbling, or you'll probably stumble upon a lot of ebooks too, as you're doing some of this research, whatever it might be, including remote collaboration. So here's an example of that. We dropped in a PDF, so it will pull the cover of that PDF, and you can see here that this pops up. It'll have the file name here, .pdf, and then you'll see this kind of pagination featured. And so you can go ahead and read the PDF this way. You could also extract pages. So for instance, we extracted this whole entire PDF. And if you wanted to say, just grab I don't know, the first to third page, you can go ahead and do that. And you can see it popped them right out. So that's what we did. How's our icebreaker looking?
You didn't want an icebreaker, you wanted team building.
Team building, that's right. Okay, team building.
I'm just being a jerk.
For those of you who don't know, which is probably all of you, Matt has an alter ego. His name is Clements.
Oh, I am not Clements. No one wants to be Clements.
I'm sorry if your name is Clements. It was Matt's joke.
It's like our one viewer is Clements, and then they leave.
Terrible.
Okay, so for market of skills, it's a team building exercise where you say, what are my top skills when it comes to functionally? Like if you're a part of a team and you're getting to know each other and you want to know, okay, like these are the things that I'm really good at. These are the things that you can come to me with as a part, almost as a part of my function. And then you can say, these are my secret skills. So this can be silly, like, hey, I'm like really good at a British accent, but you can also do like, oh, I am actually really good at running online work, like running workshops. And so the goal of the exercise is to get to know your team and their skills better. So that way, when you're doing exercises, you know who you can go to functionally, you know who you can go to for extra things. And then the last one is, what would I like to learn as a team? And so then you do this as a team, you add your sticky notes, and then people start connecting, and then you say, hey, I actually have an expertise in the thing that you have interested in learning. Why don't we like set up some sort of thing that we can, start to facilitate that? And that's market of skills. And the way it comes from is like you, in the real world example, quote unquote, you don't do this like boring, you don't do this like, I don't know. You actually like are supposed to draw a market, like a.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like your own personal like storefront. You like, and everybody draws it on their own. And so that way you go up to somebody's storefront and you like, their top skills are the things they're selling. Their secret skills are like the things underneath the counter. It's like
my secret stash.
Yes. And then I don't know what the analogy is for the things they like to learn. I guess it's, I don't know, what they buy at other stores or something. So do you want to do it really quick, Melissa?
Sure. After I drop in this icon, the store icon.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here. There's this one. There's a cashier.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Some other ones here. I'll start with those. Oh, so okay, that makes sense. Every person gets their own.
Yeah.
So maybe
so in this case, you could add your own frame for each person. Oh, you're about to see a big old Matt face.
Oh my gosh. No. That is the ultimate way to take over a board, is just to paste something really massive. Maybe I'll put this as my secret skills, but sometimes when there's 50 people on a board, I'll take I'll go and find some like GIFs of cats, and I'll just secretly place them on the board.
Oh my gosh. You would do that.
Just
You
to,
would do that.
just keep it fun when we're doing
Yeah.
some brainstorming and stuff. It's just nice to add some flair,
Yeah, you
as
would do
they
that.
say.
Makes sense.
But the thing is, you can totally see who posted it, because one, you have the
Mhm.
activity feed, right? But you also can do this thing where you kind of just where's that, get info or
It's info right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right, you want to do
No.
2 minutes for each things? 1 minute,
okay. You gonna
and
set the
then
timer?
we'll call it. We'll call it quits. I'm hungry,
Yep.
man. I'm hungry.
I know. It's 1:00 over here. We're in Los Angeles. Different cities. Well, we need to eat.
Shoot, what are my top skills?
What if, wait, do you know how you can evolve this or like build on this? What if
40
I did
seconds,
yours?
Melissa.
What if I did yours and you did mine?
Oh, interesting. For a team that's been
Right?
working together
Yes,
for a
for
while.
a team that's working together for a
Oh,
while.
that's so interesting.
Because that's us.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. You already got mine. Training. I'll do the rest of yours.
What? So you don't have to do any self-reflection?
I just want to give you kudos. I was trying to find a smart answer. Wait, why are you still on yours? I thought we were going to do each other.
What? No, that's not how it works.
I'm setting up your storefront, Matt.
I just did some fake stuff.
All right, fine. What are my top skills? Cat videos.
We're doing it live. What are my secret skills?
I think I say messaging and positioning 100 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
I don't know what my secret skills are. Oh, should I just put
a lot of coffee.
Miro as my top skills? Miro life.
Yeah. You know what you're really good at? You're really good at facilitating.
Oh,
It's
really?
not just collaboration. I'd say facilitating, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I'd add that on.
I'll add it as a single skill. Wow, minute is not enough.
It's not enough. It takes a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
Oh, secret skill.
I don't know what my secret skills are. I can play
I
guitar.
I
Guitar?
can see that. Guitar. You know what a secret skill I have is, I don't know if it's, maybe it is secret. I can find anything online.
Ah, nice.
You know, if you need to find
nice.
something, like I will find it. I have great search skills. I'm gonna say ninja search skills.
That's a good secret skill.
Can we do non-professional ones?
Yeah. What would I like to learn? Oh, look at your cute little hello. Did you do that with a trackpad?
Yeah.
It looks like purposefully like it's like cutesy font, but it looks like
Uh-huh.
purposefully messy. It almost looks like you intended it to look
Purposely.
that way.
I did intend it. Should I should write your name?
Do it.
Matt. Your last name's long. I don't know
Don't
if
do
I
my
can
last
make it.
name. Don't do my last name. It's okay. No one wants to see my last name.
Challenge accepted.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be much easier if I had my Apple Pencil.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm spelling this right. I like how the smart drawing just turned my O into a circle.
You gotta turn smart drawing off.
This is not going to turn out. Is it double L?
The first L is single and the second are double.
Yes.
Nice.
This is the randomest board ever. I don't know. Matt, what are my top skills?
I don't know. This is hard. Let's abort.
This is.
We can come back to this.
Abort.
I'm so hungry right now. Like honestly, I'm so hungry right now.
I think our brains are fried.
Yeah, our brains just died.
Some sustenance. We've been on for an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, mine says an hour and a half.
Hour and 45. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. If you are watching this live, this will be on the YouTube channel. You can play it back. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments on the video. And we'll be sharing this link, the link to this board, so you can actually drop in your own comments, and we will see them and answer anything and include things on the board for you. All right. Well,
sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Have
Thanks,
a good
Melissa.
one, everyone. Bye.
Bye.